Auburn University. The place where tradition and passion collide.
Happy heyday!
Where each story takes flight. We're not just a group of college students. We are a team, bringing Auburn to life. One frame, one interview, one show at a time. From news, homecoming parades, student government elections, and 24/7 college coverage to sports. The biggest games, the most legendary coaches, and the most intense rivalries in the country.
The Iron Bowl, which can only mean one thing.
We cover the stories that matter to you. This is Eagle Eye TV.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
Eagle Eye TV has done a great job.
And welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Brady Honeycutt.
And I'm Ella Grace Simmons.
I'm Bear Brown.
And I'm John Prowl.
It's been 686 days since the war in Gaza started, gaining the attention of communities globally.
The city of Auburn, Alabama is one of the communities taking a stand. A group of Auburn residents gathered at Toomer's Corner in a peaceful protest to speak out against the violence happening in Gaza. Their hope is to raise awareness and engage in productive conversation with the public. Ashley Spencer is one of the organizers of the protest and put a lot of thought behind the approach she wanted to take.
I just made a flyer and started sharing it around with friends through social media, and then also we organized a sign making workshop on Friday night where everybody who wanted to come could come, and we thought about our strategy, what we wanted to say, and how we could actually do an effective protest rather than just riling people up.
The anti-genocide demonstrators protested for about 4 hours regardless of the public response, but Auburn resident Jim Newton simply feels like the public isn't responding enough.
I'm a UU, and I believe that our values say that we need to stand up for justice. I think there is not enough public outcry in this country about what we are doing supporting Israel with the genocide, with the, helping people to starve. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The demonstrators especially want the public to know what their tax dollars are being used for.
Why are we funding this? Why is this what we're using our money for? This could be used for so many better things for the American people. And I think that's where we can find more of like an even consensus among everybody.
For Eagle Eye News, I'm Morgan Sims.
In the world of women's collegiate gymnastics, the SEC stands on its own. All 8 teams represented at the SEC Championships rank in the top 15 nationally.
The postseason is here for the sport of gymnastics, and the Auburn faithful made the short trip to Birmingham, Alabama to support the Lady Tigers. Starting on beam, Marissa Neal scored a 9.85 with a slight separation of her feet on this dismount. The University of Georgia squad received their best team score on the uneven bars, scoring 49.2. The University of Alabama won the first session of the SEC Championships, their best team score coming on vault with a 49.3. The Auburn Tigers saw their highest scores during their floor routines for the second week in a row, Gabby McLaughlin with a 9.875. Rounding out the apparatus was senior Sophia Groth, who had the Tigers' best score of the night on any routine with a 9.9. Paige Zancan had another strong week on the vault, earning a 9.85. However, the Auburn Tigers suffered 3 falls in their last 2 rotations, bringing their team scores for both uneven bars and vault below 49. The University of Kentucky had no athlete below a 9.8 on the floor routine and finished with a team score of 49.425.
Alex Irving caught this blind grab and clinched herself a 9.875 on uneven bars. The Tigers tied for 3rd in Session 1 of the SEC Championships. That's all for the first session in Birmingham, where the Auburn Tigers finished with a score of 195.95. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Sophia Weber.
Anytime Auburn meets Alabama, another chapter to their storied rivalry is written. Today's chapter was called Number 1 versus Number 2, and it was primarily authored by Auburn guard Denver Jones.
He's one of the best defenders in college basketball. He needs to be on the Naismith all-defensive team. Mark Sears is one of the best players in college basketball, period. And not that he did it by himself, but he did a great job on Mark. Made his catches tough, stayed between him and the basket. How do you stay in front of Mark Sears? Hardly anybody can. Denver Jones did.
Auburn held up to a 14-point second-half lead, primarily due to the dominance of Denver Jones. Alabama made a late push to try and take the reins of this battle, but it was big shots from Tahad Pettiford and Chad Baker-Mazara that helped the Tigers outduel the Crimson Tide.
Neither one of those shots was anything brilliant offensively. Chad just pulls up, kind of with the clock running down, nothing else is going on, makes a shot. And I think Tahad's was his was in transition, and he was clean. And it's like one of those shots, well, maybe you should run offense in that situation. Hey, he was clean. He could make that shot, and I thought that was a little bit of a dagger.
The Tigers won in the game of runs, and therefore they never trailed in the game. 2 9-0 runs to start the first and the second half paid off in the end.
What it does is it sends a message that we came here with the idea that we're going to try to win the game. I thought every time you saw Miles Kelly or Denver coming off a screen, you're like, I'm sure you're going, oh, no. I'm going, oh, yeah.
With the 9-point win today, head coach Bruce Pearl made history. He became the first college basketball coach in the history of the sport to take 2 different schools into a number 1 versus number 2 matchup and walk away victorious. The first of which in 2008 as the head coach of Tennessee when the Volunteers beat Memphis. The second today in Tuscaloosa as number 1 Auburn beat number 2 Alabama. For Eagle Eye TV Sports, I'm Vince Wolfram.
It's just, I think, a failure of Auburn safety, and a little disappointed in the way Auburn students conducted themselves.
This Saturday, Auburn students gathered outside Neville for the long-awaited men's basketball game versus Tennessee. After being encouraged by the university via email and social media to show up early for college game day, the crowd turned into a stampede as security let students in the line. Ahead of the game, Auburn men's basketball announced that students would not be permitted to camp outside overnight. Security and attendants had planned to allow students to enter the line at 6:30 a.m. and proceed to the doors at 7. But with the amount of people crowded in the back and many students toward the front moving past barriers, students found themselves overtaken by the large crowd, majority of which believe insufficient amounts of security and barrier structure was to blame.
Definitely not enough. Maybe 2 at the very front, and then there's a second checkpoint where there's a police car. I know there's a video circulating about that.
The main problem was the barricades. That was the main thing that was making it so dangerous, because they were confining everyone in there was huge groups confined into one small runway, I guess.
Not even a line. They didn't even form us down the concourse or anything. They just let us get into this big bowl, and then it just got tighter and tighter. And then when the first group kind of started to go forward a little bit, we all just pushed forward, and there was nobody saying, hey, you need to let up, because there's people that could be harmed by this, and it was just all on the students to alleviate the situation.
Some students reported seeing others trampled under the thousands trying to get through the line. Others reported their own injuries and experiences of being trapped under barriers and only receiving help from the other students in the crowd.
Some girl next to us started screaming at the top of her lungs. There was a barricade on top of her and people were running over her.
I was lifted up onto my feet and held between 2 people, and my arms were crossed like this, just trying to breathe. A girl next to me had passed out.
But I fell face first, chin first, I guess, on the concrete. And 2 people did try to help me up, but they were kind of trying to grab me, but they had to keep running, they couldn't stop. I got 6 stitches in my chin.
I have elevated bruises all over my legs. I have a huge bruise on the side of my thigh where it's really elevated. You could see that there was a foot right there. I have a huge knot on my back because someone stepped on my back.
Students felt as though much of the cause for the stampede came from the lack of communication of what the plan was, as well as not enough security and police presence for the number of students in attendance.
Over the 4 years I've had, how Auburn is, they're so Auburn family, but they're really trying to sweep this under the rug, and it's kind of weird.
Eagle Eye TV reached out to the athletics department, Auburn police, and campus safety and security. Jennifer Adams from the Office of the President said they were reviewing their game day policies, and the safety of the students, personnel, and community members is of utmost importance. At this time, Eagle Eye TV still has not received a response from Auburn Athletics or the Auburn Police Department.